Let's give you a look at today's business headlines. And for a little help with that, let's bring in our money men, business and markets analyst and NewsMax contributor Seth Denson, and America's accountant, Professor Dan Geltrude. Good morning, gentlemen.
Hey, good morning, Alex.
All right, let's take a quick look at the markets. Now, because they were down big yesterday after investors learned the Federal Reserve is increasing interest rates, Dan, this triggered a major sell-off of stocks and bonds. Your thoughts?
Well, that's to be expected because if interest rates are going to go up, the market is going to react negatively. And the reason for that is money is going to head elsewhere. Other opportunities to have interest rates a little bit higher with a little bit more safety than the risk that you have in the market. So not unexpected at all, Alex.
So, Seth, what does this mean for small businesses then?
Well, it just depends on their credit lines. The Fed's going to raise the rate about 1/4 point. We're expecting that after the March meeting. So this isn't going to be a dire impact. And quite frankly, for small businesses, this might be a lift, perhaps, because as Dan alluded to, more investors are going to look at different places to put money. So there might be private equity money out there that they could gain access to. Yes, perhaps loans are going to be a little tougher to get, and there's going to be a little bit of an interest rate. But by and large, I don't think that's going to have a negative impact on small business. Matter of fact, if it helps bring down inflation, it could have a positive impact.
All right, shifting gears a little bit, pun intended, General Motors and Ford have a rivalry that dates all the way back to 1911. GM is announcing a fully electric Silverado pickup, which they claim to have more range and tech than the recently announced Ford Lightning. Seth, you're a Texas guy. Will you be picking up this electric Silverado?
I won't, because I'm a Ford guy. Has nothing to do with Texas. I drive the Rolls-Royce of pickup trucks, which is the Ford F-350, and so I won't be picking this up. But that being said, I think it's a good move in general. Listen, less than 1% of all cars on the road are electric, less than 5% of new car sales. But here's the other thing. You know, with the Biden's push for the Build Back Better plan, they're pushing for a $12,500 tax credit for the purchase of a new vehicle. The only manufacturer, major manufacturer, that is not on the list with a vehicle that would qualify, GM.
All right, guys, you know what? We have someone else to bring in. It's the other part of this trio right here. Let's welcome in the Executive Vice President for Commonwealth Foundation, Jennifer Stefano. Good morning, Jennifer. Thank you for joining us.
Thanks for having me. Good morning. Good morning, gentlemen.
So I don't know if you heard this, but will you be picking up an electric Silverado? And what are your thoughts on GM making a push towards electric vehicles?
Yeah, no, I'm going to head right to Texas with it. I think, Seth, we can compete. I'll do the GM, you do the Ford. We'll see. But I probably will not be buying my own pickup truck yet, though I want one. I think competition in the marketplace is great. I think that Ford and GM are competing means that you're going to have a better quality car from each of them, and the price is going to be lower for consumers, and you can't lose. I don't think the government should be subsidizing these things. I think markets should decide, but I think what's most interesting is watching the infrastructure get built out across the country, because remember, you can only go so far. You got to recharge that car. If you're not going back home, where can you go to do it? So they're actually starting to be an infrastructure built out by private companies to recharge electric vehicles. It's going to be very interesting to watch.
All right. Well, two very, very lucky people became very rich. The Powerball lottery reached over $600 million with a cash payout of more than $445 million. Now, Dan, the majority of lottery winners actually end up going broke. What advice do you have to offer these new multimillionaires?
Well, the lottery winners, you're right, don't stand a good chance of holding on to their money. About 70% of them lose it all. So the first thing to do, if you can remain anonymous, depending on the state that you're in, remain anonymous. Next step, go out and contact your lawyer and an accountant, perhaps America's accountant. Then after that, if you're not going to listen to them and just listen to these few things I have to say, one, pay off all your debts with that money. You want to start with a clean slate. Next, if you're going to spend money, do it up front. Get it out of your system. After you do that, then you implement a plan as to how you can live well and still hold on to the remainder of your money.
Well, that's certainly great advice. All right. Well, many airlines are still struggling with delaying flights and staffing shortages. However, airline stocks actually seem to be taking off. Now, is this a sign that the industry is making a rebound, Seth?
Well, I think it's a sign that investors recognize the federal government is never going to let the airline industry fail. And if there's another new too big to fail aspect of business, it's going to be the airline industry. The economy flies. And so as a result, it's a relatively safe bet, I think, for many investors, which is why you see those stocks returning back to their pre-pandemic glory. I think that will continue. Again, I think as the economy continues to open up, airlines are going to be an essential part of that. And so long-term investment-wise, I think airlines are probably a good bet.
All right. Well, we mentioned Texas earlier in the show. Well, the NFL is looking for a backup plan if SoFi Stadium in LA can't host the Super Bowl because of their COVID mandates, of course. Now, Seth, you are from the great state of Texas, which we talked about, which is one of actually the few alternate locations that they are actually considering. Now, what is your message to the NFL, and what teams do you think are going to be in the big game?
Oh, the teams part. Well, listen, my message to the NFL is, come on, we'll get the barbecue rolling, and everybody's welcome to come to Texas. Maybe we'll do better than that last ice storm we had the last time the Super Bowl was in Texas. Listen, I got to say, this might be our year for my Dallas Cowboys. I'm hopeful that it's our year. As far as the AFC, I don't even know. I don't really care, because I think the Cowboys are going to take it all.
I think it's up in the air right now. All right, so Seth Denson said Dallas Cowboys are taking it. He said it here on the show. We've got Rob Finnerty. He wants this Patriots in, so we're going to see what happens with that Super Bowl next month. So thank you so much, Jennifer Stefano, Seth Denson, and Dan Geltrude. Jen and the Money Men, we always love having you guys.
Hey, thanks so much.
Thank you.